Hello everyone, it's Sky here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we are going to be doing part 4 of our Christmas color along. I'm so excited for this. This is our second last part. I can't wait to see her finished. If you haven't been following along so far, you can go ahead and watch the first 3 videos if you're interested. We've been working in Hannah Lynn's A Whimsy Girls Christmas, and the page that we've been working on is Santa's Helper. This is what we have done so far. It really doesn't seem like we have a lot left. Mostly just small items, which I'm not gonna lie, is my least favorite to color. Some people love the details. I'm not one of them. I mean, I am. The details make a picture, or make the picture, I should say. But they're very tedious to color, and I'm not a fan of that. So yeah, I love the details, not a big fan of coloring them. And we already have a cat at the door, so let me just let Miss Mookey go. Hey, come back. Well, fine then. She wanted in, and then when I opened the door, she ran away. It was Miko, though. I was right. What was I saying now? Cat distraction. Anyways, yeah, I love the details. They do make the picture. Not a fan of coloring them. And there are quite a few small details on this page, but it's gonna be fun. I have a few colors picked out, and then other things I'm a little bit uncertain of, or I'm just gonna kind of wing it in the moment. And for the most part, I'm gonna try to keep colors that we've already used, because we've used a fair number of them. And we might introduce a couple new colors to kind of help the combinations out. But for the most part, we're going to keep it pretty close to home. I have some swatches picked out for combinations that I think that we're going to use. I don't have any of my pencils picked out, so I'm going to have to do that. I think that's all I wanted to say, so I will grab some pencils and we will zoom on in. I have the colors that I know of for sure out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to base the wall. So in this part, we're going to be basically coloring all of these little teeny tiny objects, this ribbon, and the wall. We're going to start off with there. Oh, and this tape measure. So we're going to start off with there. We're going to see how much time we have after that and kind of figure anything else out if we have extra time. But that is my goal today. And then in part 4, we'll do the Christmas tree. Sorry, I got distracted. The Christmas tree, and then her hair, the rest of her pretty much. I am going to do the wall in marker because I want it to be very plain, and marker is just easier and faster than it would take to color it in pencil. If you don't have markers, that's totally not a problem. I have 2 colors picked out that I'm going to use, and once the color has dried, I will try to match it with a Prismacolor pencil. And then what you would do is you would just color this in solid with a Prismacolor pencil. You could just do multiple layers and then use a blender pencil to burnish it, or you could just leave it textured, because I think those walls that have that little bit of texture to them look super cool too. So I will definitely tell you what color. I'm assuming these 2 colors are probably going to make sky blue light. Or you could probably mix sky blue light with probably like the 20% cool gray to kind of achieve the wall color. The ones that I'm going to use, this is the Ohuhu 48 marker set that have the brush and broad markers. So I'm going to use these. I don't know if mixing these 2 is going to be beneficial or not, or even make a difference, but I'm going to do it anyways. So the first one I have is MG020, and this is Blue Gray 02. Depending on where we get in this video, and if I want a little bit of extra time for something, I might speed this up. And if not, then I'll leave it. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna see how I feel about the color, and if I think that we need to add the gray, then I might. Or one thing that I might do, because I kind of want to see what it would look like with the gray, is I might use the gray as like a little bit of a shadow behind the shelf here. So we'll kind of see. I was going to color this in, but whatever these are, which I'm assuming they're books back here, I'm not too sure. This technically would be coming down here. So the little seams in the toboggan would be the color of whatever book this is going to be. And then these ones here would be the color of the wall. I think I got everything there, hopefully. I do actually kind of like the blue. I definitely want to see what it looks like with the gray though. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this in. If you wanna follow along and you're using these markers, I'm gonna use CG020, which is neutral gray 02. And I'm just gonna add this directly underneath these shelves here. We'll see what it does. Okay, so while we wait for those to dry, let's just hop into coloring, and we'll start with the curtain here. So I'm gonna go in with my permanent red. This is our lightest color. Yeah, this is our lightest color. So I'm just gonna base everything. This would technically be wall color. So I'm just gonna grab my blue and put a little bit there. Not that it's really gonna be noticeable if we left that white, but just because I noticed it, might as well. Look at me using red in a picture. Aren't you guys proud of me? This never happens. We're gonna go in with our next color, which is the Crimson Lake. So I'm going in on the left of these lines to add a little bit of this in here. This is our second lightest color, so kind of our mid-tone. I'm basically using the exact same colors that we did on her outfit. I'm gonna go just directly up here and just lightly fade it out, and then bring it down a little ways, and then also fade it out, just to add a little bit of extra detail there. Okay, top part of here, this is gonna be relatively dark. I'm just gonna color this whole area in. About a little bit on this top line here, a little bit on the bottom of this line here. Okay, we'll add some of this color coming out from the bow. Some just along these lines here. Out from the bow on this side as well. Okay, inside here. We'll do above this one. And then just a little bit on this one here on the bottom. Let's do to the right of this one. The right of this one as well. I'm just going to kind of color that in completely. And then we'll do a little bit up here and just kind of fade it down. And a little bit coming out from behind these bigger parts of the Christmas tree. I think that looks pretty good. So our darkest color is the dioxazine purple hue. I'm going to give mine a really sharp point because we're working with some pretty fine details here, and I would like to keep this very minute. Mine's pretty small, so I can't get the best point on this because it's hard to sharpen, but this should be better. Okay, so on most of those shadows, we're just going to add a little bit of this at the very edges of them. So we're going to add a little bit here, a little bit here. We can fade them out just slightly. Maybe add a little bit here. I don't want this to be too dark, but just like a tiny little bit. And then we can add a little bit to this one here. Just color this top part in pretty much with that. We want that pretty dark. Same with these little loop parts on the bow. I want those fairly dark. Just where it directly comes out from the knot. We can have a little bit darker where it comes out from underneath. Maybe just a tiny little bit out of these bigger parts of the tree again here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So then we can work our way back through them. So I'm going to go for the Crimson Lake again. So we'll go over those shadows and then fade it out. We'll leave some highlights for our lightest color. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm not burnishing anything with this color. I want to burnish everything with the lighter red. But I definitely want a fair bit of this color in here because it is so beautiful, and that will help give us a lot more dimension. I'm just going to darken up the very bottom part of this. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow kind of coming up here. All right, got distracted. Ring needed something. Where were we? Okay, permanent red. I think I'm going to use a blending pencil to burnish this. So I think if I use the permanent red, it's just going to end up like extremely vibrant, and I don't think I want that. So I'm just going to layer this color in here. See, we could leave it like that with that little bit of tooth showing if you wanted it to look like textured, like rough kind of fabric. But I'm going for more of a satin look. So, oh, and I just realized that I didn't put my piece of paper back in behind here. goodness. I'm usually very good with that, but apparently for this color alone, nope, not this time. Let's see, I need my blender pencil here. I'm not too worried about shadows or highlights here, so I'm not really worried about cleaning my pencil off in between. I'm just gonna burnish it. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at the difference in that. That is just wild. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. I'm working on one of these Black Forest cake mud shakes again. I don't think I'll buy these again, but they are pretty good, so. All right, so what are we thinking about the wall? I do like it, but I do think that I want it a little bit more gray. And the gray that I used here didn't really seem to do much. Like, I can see it if I'm looking very hard for it, but not really enough that I think it makes much of a difference. They're too close in color. I think I want a little bit of a darker gray. I'm not going to bother keeping this gray in the materials listed that we used. But again, if you did want to use this one, it is CG020 Neutral Gray 02. So let's see, I think I'm gonna grab, I don't want to go too dark, but I definitely want it darker. And I do still want to stick to a blue gray. So okay, I'm gonna grab BG050 Cool Gray 5. We're committed now. There's no one back. Probably should have started using it for a shadow for the cupboards, but oh well. It's not going to stay this dark. It's wet, so it will dry lighter. I think it'll be okay. It's a pretty gray. And one trick that I've learned, or at least it seems to work like this anyways, if you take a colorless blender over marker that is dry, it lifts it up a little bit and lightens it. which in my experience is actually very annoying, and that's how I found out. I think this color kind of works better too because I wanted to do these trucks kind of the same blue as the door, or similar blue anyways. And I think it would have blended in too much with this original wall color. So I think having this darker is actually better. I think I'm already liking this better. This is probably not completely dry yet, but it is already a lot lighter. And yeah, that color just, it definitely made the red pop a lot more. And I think it goes well with pretty much every single color we have going here. So once it's fully dry, I will let pencil users know what color, and I'll probably have like a color match in brackets next to the marker color. Okay, what next? I think I want to do the gold stars. So we're gonna have two gold things here. We're gonna have these stars and this ruler. I just wonder if this bow should be red as well. I think I'll leave it because I think we're gonna have the bows on the tree red here, and that'll be in part 5. So I'll still have my red colors if I want to do up this bow red. So yeah, let's tackle the stars. I'm gonna keep them very basic. So kind of like, what was it? The bulbs on the present, the little circles. We're gonna keep it very similar. We're gonna start in with the canary yellow, and we're just gonna base them. And then we're going to go in with the dark umber. I'm just going to lightly try and outline these. And And let's put in a little bit of the goldenrod in there. Not a whole lot because this is really tiny and we want it to be mostly canary yellow, but I want a little bit of that goldenrod kind of along the outside. And then with the canary yellow, we can just burnish that. I don't know if I want these stars to appear like they're glowing or not. We can always add that later on because we're definitely going to make the tree appear like it's glowing. So literally all we're going to do is we're going to take our yellow, which will probably be either the deco yellow or the canary yellow, and we're just going to put it all in here. Even though it's burnished, it should still add a little bit of the yellow color. We'll have to do it a lot lighter here since this is marker. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Okay, so moving down to this measuring tape, which I don't think is in frame. So let me just check here, make sure we're in frame. My phone's blowing up. Just gonna make sure it's not important. It's probably, yeah, the girls. I'm gonna put this on Do Not Disturb for now. The group of girls that I am close to from work, we have our own group chat, so it's always going off all the time. Do we have these? Yes, in frame too. Perfect. Okay, so let's take our canary yellow. We're just gonna lightly go over these. And then this. Okay. Let's go in with our dark umber. I'm gonna add a little bit where it comes out from behind her arm. And then I'm gonna add a little bit on the very left side on the bottom. I technically see this as the bottom of the ruler since it's got the measurement marks coming out off from the side. Okay, light umber. Just a little bit coming off from this. I'm going to switch back to the dark umber. I was going to use the light umber for these, but I think I'm going to use the dark umber. I'm just going to add a little bit of this color along these lines that are in here. I don't think I'm going to add the light umber to that. Let's go in with the goldenrod. So we'll bring a little bit of this up and fade it out. This is especially for our browns though. It's gonna add that yellowed tone to the browns and make it appear a little bit more golden in color. And then we're just fading it out to help it blend in with the canary yellow. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of the goldenrod coming off of these lines here. I sharpened mine up a little bit so I have a really nice sharp point. Okay, canary yellow. I want to make these kind of dull, this anyways, I want like a dull gold. So I'm going to lightly go over with the canary yellow, add a little bit more of this, but I'm going to burnish with the cream, which will help kind of mute down these colors so it's not so bright. These, I'm basically just going to color in fully. I'm going to color section by section though, because I don't want to blend the dark umber into any other area. If I just colored it like this, it would blend it all over and then it would kind of muddy it up. And then just because we can, let's take our canary yellow and we're just going to go around this, create a little bit of a halo, and then we're going to fade it out. Let's do that for each one. We might as well. We can put the glow on these because they're pretty much done. We're going to add a little bit of white to them. Yeah, so we got a little bit of a glow going on around those. Let's grab the cream. Got a little bit of the cream coming out from these. And of course, we are going to burnish our tape measure with this. Okay, let's, just for the fun of it, do a little bit of detail work on those. Oh, I do have blender pencils. That's cool. I think I mentioned at some point that I'm trying to go through and tidy up the art room, and the shelf that I keep a lot of my kind of random coloring stuff, like my fine liners and tape and just weird stuff like that. I've already gone through and organized that shelf. So I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I'm trying not to be such a hoarder. I'm not really a hoarder, I swear, but like a pack rat. I don't like throwing things out. I'll like keep it for years and years. Like, oh, I might use this one day, even though I haven't used it for like 3 years. So I'm trying to let go of a lot of stuff. And in doing so, I was able to create a whole little drawer for my spare polychromos and prismas and a few other random kind of things, kind of like backups, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to re-outline this ruler. This is just a cheap fine liner that I got from the dollar store. It's a studio fine liner. This is black. They don't really like the wax of the Prismacolor, so I'm very carefully trying to go over this. I'm having to kind of like go back and forth and kind of create a line that way. You can bring back out the measurement lines. Unless you like that softened look of them. I kind of do, but I think I need to bring them back out a little bit. Okay, very important though. If you don't want to ruin your fine liners, you need to get rid of the wax on the tip of them. So I'm just going to take a spare piece of paper and see how it's like it's not really wanting to work. You just want to keep working that out until it starts kind of drawing normal again. Sometimes it takes a little bit. I might have actually killed this. Nope, I think I killed mine. Either that or it wasn't working that great to begin with, I'm not sure. Oh well. Like I said, they're very cheap. while it's on my mind, I'm going to take an Ohuhu marker. This is 67. This is this color right here. This is out of the, I think it's the 100 set that just has the bullet, or like the fine and the broad. And I'm just going to color the fur on her. If you're using pencils and you don't have markers, or like don't have a blue marker like this, you can use non-photo blue and do the same thing. I'll try to remember to put that up in the listed materials as well. This really isn't important for now. It'll be more important in part 5, the last part, because that's when we're going to be doing the fur. We're going to be using acrylic paint to do the fur. And I like to just have a little bit of a base, and I want this to look like more like a blue-white. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference. Sometimes the blue doesn't show through. It depends on how opaque we want the white. So if we do a lot of layers of the acrylic paint, then it might not really show through, but just in case, it's good to have that. I think that's the only area that's gonna have fur. I think we got it all. What next? I guess we can start on the toys. We're only at about 40 minutes in, which is good. So I bet coloring the toys is probably gonna take up the majority of the time. I don't really want to color these in with pencils, so I'm gonna grab a red fine liner. Again, this is a studio fine liner as well, just a different kind. It's like those triangle ones, super cheap. And I'm just gonna color in some red marks on these candy canes. I can't even see what's red and what's not, or like what's line and what's not. I'm just making my own here. As long as they look like candy canes, I don't really care. There we go, just like that. Let's make this candy cane too. So just add little bits of red in here. Super cute. Because the plan is we're gonna use a little bit of a mixture of 2 blues around this and kind of color this in, so that way it actually looks like the candy canes are in the jar. And if I used a red pencil, it would just kind of blur it like we did with the present. And I don't want that there. Don't want it blurred. Okay, so I'm gonna do these little ball thingies here first, I think. I'm gonna start with the black grape, and we're gonna add a little bit of a shadow. So I'm gonna add the black grape kind of on this side here, and along the bottom, and then we're just gonna fade it out. We'll add a little bit of the black grape on this one, but it's mostly gonna be our other color. Okay, Parma Violet is the next color, so I'm going to put that in over top of the black grape, and then I'm just going to bring it out. I'm not really worried about doing too much detail for this stuff. It's pretty small. We want it colored for sure, but it's not going to add a whole lot. I think I'm going to use my blender pencil to kind of blend these, because that Parma Violet, that is a strong color. I didn't clean the tip of this, so I added a little bit of red in there, which I don't really care. I don't mind. It looks good. Oh, chicken nuggets. There's another one. I knew it too. I was looking right at it, and then I didn't color it. Okay, so black grape. Parma Violet. Blender pencil. Okay, I'm gonna take the Sandbar Brown. I'm just gonna add a little bit to each side, where we can see it anyways. It's just these small details that I really hate. And part of it is because they take a million swatches and oh man, it's a mess. It's a little bit chaotic. I like to be very neat and organized, which is nearly impossible when you're using that many swatches. I just pray I don't miss any and that you guys forgive me if I do. I'm gonna sharpen my cream. This might be one of the last sharpens this guy ever gets. He is so tiny. Ugh. Poor guy. I think this is cream number 2. Maybe even 3. I use this color a lot. Okay, it's just gonna burnish those. Let's do the teddy bears. So let's start with the dark umber. Oh, I have that here. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the dark umber kind of coming out from the arm and underneath. We don't want to go too detail heavy with these. If we try to add too many colors, it's actually not going to look good because this is such a small area. Less is definitely more here, in my opinion. I don't even know if I want to add any shadow to his face. Maybe let's add just a little bit lightly. I'm doing very light up here. Okay, cute. Let's go in with the Sandbar Brown. I think this is what I'm going to use to just finish coloring him in. These aren't fully burnished. I'm going to use the cream, I think, to fully burnish them, but I'll get a good amount of that Sandbar Brown color in here. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. I like that. It doesn't lighten it up too much, but a little bit. It helps. Okay, because I'm lazy, I'm going to take the permanent red and I'm just going to very lightly color in the ears. There. And then actually let's stick with the cream. We're going to color in these spots. Oh, I grabbed the white and then we never did use it. I'm all over the place here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna outline these and go over the lines as well. And I think I want this to be white too. So let's go ahead and do that white. Yeah, I like that. We're just gonna add white dots for the teddy bear's eyes because we kind of lost them in there. Does that make them look possessed? Maybe we'll have to go over that with the black instead. Okay, let's move up to this jar here. We're going to use the Blue Violet Lake. Add a little bit of a shadow. So just along the right and bottom, I'm going to add a little tiny bit here, a little bit on either side of the rim. And then with the Sky Blue Light, nice sharp point. And we're just gonna color all over it. There, and then it gives the illusion that these candy canes are in a jar. I mean, they technically are, but you know what I mean. Looks realistic. I'm gonna do actually the same thing with this. Let's do the Blue Violet Lake. We're gonna outline this. And then we'll just lightly fade it in a little ways. I'm gonna create a line here and here, and then one right here. And then I'm gonna go this way. There, we can bring that out later, that's okay. And we probably will, because I want it to stand out a little bit, but I do definitely want it to have that kind of glass effect here. I'm kind of second guessing having these blue. I'm gonna do them red. I'm gonna have some red trucks here. So let's see, I'm gonna start with the Crimson Lake. I think there's hopefully enough color difference between the Crimson Lake and the other one. So I'm just gonna go along the bottom here and I'm gonna bring it up, and that's pretty much it. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, I don't know what to do these. I'm actually gonna look those up. I was thinking about having each corner a different color, like super fun and colorful, but I'm not too sure. Oh, while we have the red though, this little wagon is gonna be red. So I'm gonna go just along the bottom here and fade this up. And then with the permanent red, we can bring that in. I'm not going to burnish with the permanent red. I'm going to use my blender pencil again. I need a sharper point than this. Wonder if we should maybe just do those yellow. Let me look it up and see what other people did. Let's see, Santa's Helper. Okay, so we've got some two-toned ones. A lot of people went with yellow. More two-toned, two-toned. See, this one did 4 different colors. I'm actually not sure if I like that. It looks good on hers, but she has a lot of colors going on, like very colorful Paige, so it kind of fits. Mine is a lot more limited, so I think it might stand out too much. Let's make them kind of like an orangey yellow, perhaps. Okay, so canary yellow. And then goldenrod. That'll kind of give us our orangey color without having to actually grab some oranges. So I'm just gonna go on this line and then bring it out just a little bit on either side. Okay, back in with the yellow. And we'll just go over all of it to finish it off. We'll just leave it like that. I think that looks okay. Okay, Blue Violet Lake. I go in and do these windows here for the trucks. Back to Canary Yellow. Little headlights. Some of them I kind of colored over a little bit with the red, but oh well. Tis what it is. I think while I have this, I'm just going to kind of color some random books here. So yellow. Let's do some with the Blue Violet Lake. Maybe a couple. I don't think I want to do that one. Red. See, this one can be red. And let's do sandbar brown. Have like a neutral colored one. Oh, just give me one sec. It's one thing I really don't like about my ring light. It definitely washes the colors out. They look so much nicer than it looks like on my phone. I really hope that when I color correct in my editing software that it does make a difference. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna want, is there anything else we can color here? Oh, we were doing the books, that's right. Okay, so sandbar brown, these ones that are left here. Yeah, that gives us a little bit of extra color anyways. Let's see, we can do, just gonna add a little bit of dark umber to these. It's kind of on both sides. I'm gonna go over lightly with the sandbar brown. I don't want these to be super dark. I want it to be a little bit lighter. And then I'll burnish that with the cream. Okay, that looks good. Let's do the blue violet lake for this. I'm going to do just a little bit on each side and do a little bit on the bottom left of each wheel. Do a little bit here, just kind of adding it in randomly. These I'm just going to color in. Add a little touch of it here. Okay, and then sky blue light to finish that all off. We want that silver kind of look. I could have went with the grays, but I don't really want to grab them. I think this looks okay. Okay, one thing I will grab though is the black, or maybe like the 70% cool gray. We've used that already, haven't we? Let's use that. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of that, a little bit dark on the bottom, fade it up, lightly go over everything. A little bit up here, fading out, down here, fading out. Still going over everything though, and these little truck wheels, just gonna lightly go over them. And then with my blender pencil, I'm gonna clean this off. And then we'll use this to burnish. I think I'm gonna make this frame match the toboggan. I really like the looks of that. So let's go in with the dark umber kind of on the seams here. So a little bit on each side, fading it out. Just kind of gently add some lines here. You could even leave it like that if you like that look too. Oh, we did the sandbar brown, didn't we? Don't want to forget that, otherwise it'll end up looking funny, I think. Okay, so just lightly go over it with the sandbar brown. And then going over that and burnishing with the cream. Yeah, that looks cute. With my pretty much wrecked fine liner, let's just bring the toys back out a little bit. So I'm just gonna outline this. We can re-add in these lines as well. There, so that way it stands out a little bit more. Super cute. With our white now, we kind of add in a couple little lines to suggest the glass there. I think let's switch to the black and let's dot in the teddy bear's eyes. We'll make them darker. I think that looks better. Might have to, I'm gonna grab my black Posca. Make my life a little bit easier there. Okay, and then we can add some little highlights on the trucks. Wow, we're only at an hour. Makes me wonder if I should maybe tackle something else since we're almost done this. Like done what I wanted to do anyways for this part. Let's add some like little white arrows to these boxes to make them look a little bit neater. A little bit of a highlight on them. These spheres can go like this. Kind of helps add to the rounded effect. Add a little bit of white kind of on top of the black. For these parts, add a little highlight to the wagon, make it look shiny. The bike spokes, we can make those white. Let's maybe add a little bit of white to the bear's tummy. Can't really notice it. Doesn't make much of a difference. Also with the black, I'm gonna be careful now because everything's wet. Let's bring out his nose too. I think that might help. Go over that a little bit. Do we want to add highlights to the books? I suppose we could, maybe a couple of them. Maybe a little bit on the brown and the blue one, and then maybe a little bit on the red one here, even though it's gonna eat the white out of it. It'll be a red highlight. That looks so good, actually. I really like that. These stars up here, let's outline these actually. Add little dots to them as well. Whimsical them up a little bit. Okay, that looks so cute. For the shelf, I want to keep it light. Let's go in with the Sandbar Brown. This will be our shadow, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of it running along the bottom here. I think thinking either putty beige or the 10% French gray. So it'll kind of match a little bit with the floor, which I think I'm okay with. I wonder if the putty beige is too dark. Cats. I think it's too dark. Let's go with the 10% gray. Okay, I'm going to start in over top of the Sandbar Brown and then just raise it up. Yeah, I like that. Just either make them really dark or make them lighter, but I really like the lighter color palette that we have, so I don't really want to darken up too much stuff. Okay, one thing that we could do that might add a little bit to this kind of area here, I'm going to take the 70% cool gray and we're going to create some shadows here. So kind of make a little bit of a shadow kind of to the left of everything and then just under the shelves. This is one of the joys of doing this with markers. Unfortunately, if you colored this with pencil crayon, you can probably add a little bit of a shadow, but it's not going to be quite as easy. But even if it's pretty much burnished, you can still add a little bit of a shadow to it. I do it all the time. It's all about those little details, right? Those pesky little details. There. It's very subtle, but it adds a lot. I'm undecided. We don't actually have that long, like maybe 10-15 minutes at most. So there's not really much we can do. There's not a whole lot left. I'm pretty confident that it's not going to take too much longer than an hour and a half, if anything, from the next part. I think what we might do with the rest of our time is maybe outline the things on the present, because it is still bugging me a little bit. I don't know why. It's just, I don't like it as much as I thought I would. I think we need it a little bit more sharp. So one thing that I did do actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I used the sandbar brown to go over the lines here. I had originally gone through and lightened them up. I used the sandbar brown to bring them back out, just the lines of the present. So the bottom of the present, the sides of the lid, and then the top. So I did that. I think that's the only thing I did. I meant to mention it, but totally forgot. I'm gonna grab some fine liners. I'm gonna grab a yellow, a red, and a green, dark green. Okay. I don't know if I actually want to do the red. I do know I want to do the green. This is not really the green I'm looking for. There it is. This is the green I'm looking for. Okay, so just lightly going over these. Let me just let whatever cat this is in. I'm gonna get a stitch. Oh, hi. I was wrong. It's Lilo. Hi, Lilo. You gotta stay down. Don't you think about it. Oh, now stitch. You guys all go. Get her out. Come on. Yes, we got Lilo and Stitch in here now. Okay, just because I don't want to be working in wet marker, I'm gonna work on this half first and then the other half. I think I'm gonna grab an orange, actually. Let's try this, because I don't think the yellow is gonna show up. I don't even think this orange works. No, I think I need to buy some new fine liners. I've had these for ages, so I'm not surprised in the least. Yeah, this one works better. Shh. Okay. Well, that was short-lived. Let me out! He's so whiny. It's the end of the world. He's the one that wanted in here, and now it's a problem. I think I definitely like that. As much as I really like this effect, I don't know, it wasn't sitting right. It didn't seem finished. I don't know. I'm gonna put the yellow one back because I'm not using it. making sure to wipe these off after I'm done. As long as you work like really softly and like you're not like pushing them into the wax, it's usually not too bad. They'll sit on top of the wax. Hopefully they dry. I think they would, hopefully. To be honest, I don't actually know. But I would hope so. Yes, as long as they're not being pushed into the wax, they should be okay. They shouldn't clog up that easy. You can wait. You're the one that wanted in. You can wait till I'm done. I really wasn't kidding when I said that opening and closing doors is my life. They do not like when the door is closed. If the door is closed, they have to come in, make sure I'm not doing anything special without them. And then when they realize that I'm just being lame in here and talking to myself, they leave. You went out? Or did you change your mind? Remember? Hi. What are you doing? Yeah? Do you have a busy day? Huh? What'd you do? What'd you do today? Hi there. Hi there. You're very cute. Remember? You little trips? You can't come up. Not yet. No. Sorry. You stayed in. Okay. What are we at for time now? That's pretty good. I'll take an hour 20. You're fine. You stole my chair. I don't think there's really any other just like small details or anything I would add or that we can do at this point. We really only, we could do her eyes. Let's do that. That gets one thing out of the way. I want to use up as much time as possible in the first 4 parts. And I'd rather have like a shorter part 5 than end up having to do like a 2-hour or 2.5-hour part 5 or have a whole extra video. So that's why I try and cram as much in there as I can. Why are you so cute? Hey. Boy, did you miss me? I love you. My little cuddle bug. She loves kisses and cuddles. She hates feeling ignored. Is that right? Don't like being ignored, do we? Hi. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm almost done. Okay, so I'm going to grab the Blue Violet Lake. I think this is dark enough. So I'm going to connect her pupil to the top of her eyelashes. We're going to color that in with the black anyways. So we're creating a shadow up here. Don't you dare, Lil, you can't jump on my back. I'm kind of bent over the desk a little bit here because she stole my chair. And she was very much debating jumping on my back, which she does quite often. And usually it's a surprise, so it's not fun for anybody involved. Will you stop? You're fine. There you go. Lots of kisses. Okay, sky blue light is next. And I'm just gonna bring this out from the ouch. Stop clawing at me, you brat. I'm gonna push you further away. Now you can't claw me. Shouldn't like that. So I'm gonna put this over top of the Blue Violet Lake and then Just bring it out. I'm pretty much burnishing. It's not fully burnished, but we're only going to add one other color in here, and it's going to be more for detail than anything. Let's see what I mean in just a second here. Okay, so once we're happy with the eyes, we are going to grab our sandbar brown. We might actually do two colors in here. We're going to get an extremely sharp point on this pencil. And then we're going to add a little bit to the, we're going to outline her iris, pupil. We're going to outline her pupil. And then with some flicking motions, we're just going to add a little bit of this into her eye. We can come back on this side and add a little bit as well. Do the same thing on this one. And then just for a little extra contrast, let's definitely go in with the dark umber, because I think that that's just going to make her eyes pop. Again, a very, very, very sharp pencil. Okay, once we're happy with that, we can go back in with our sky blue lights. Just wipe off any excess dust here, because we don't want to smudge anything in anywhere we don't want. And just using small little circles, we're just going to go back over all of this one more time. There we go. And just because we have the black out already, I'm not going to do her eyelashes, because obviously we're not going to want to do those until we have her skin colored. But we can go ahead and fill in her pupil. Looks a little creepy without the whites in it, but yeah. All right, I'm going to zoom out. As always, don't mind the mess. I'm so excited. We only have one more part. She's almost finished. I can't wait to see this finished. The tree especially is going to be spectacular. I definitely want some white on it. I'm thinking of doing like these garlands white. I was originally thinking silver, but I think white for those. Red bows, gold balls, obviously red and white candy canes. We're going to do like a really deep foresty royal green for the tree, and then we'll probably balance that by doing a similar color on the wreath, make it just slightly different, maybe a little bit more of a lighter green, and then the mistletoe as well, maybe a mixture of these two. And then we just have her hair, which I think is going to be like a dirty blonde, and then her skin, and then just the poofs, and I think that's literally it. I am still debating adding sparkles to the gift. We're going to use some metallic watercolor, probably for the gold balls, and maybe just a couple other details. Yeah, other than that, that is the plan. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. If you are liking this color along, if you could give it a thumbs up so other people can find it, that would be absolutely wonderful. I'd appreciate it. Okay, it's me from the future. I just did a couple things. I was just going to make note of them in part 5, but I decided that I would just show you now before we actually end this video. So I did add a little bit of a shadow using the 70% cool gray, just kind of on the wall here too, just like we did over here. So exact same color we used there. And then I also just added a little bit of a shadow along this as well. And then the only other thing I did was I added a highlight on the ruler because I meant to do that, or the measuring tape. That's literally all I just did, but I figured while I had these colors out, so I don't have to bring them in next time, I would just show you guys. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I will leave you to past Skyee now. That's it for now, and hopefully I will see you next time. All right, guys, as always, take care. Bye.